Hello everyone, how are you? I hope you're keeping okay. Another week in lockdown, and this side of the border, it doesn't look like that's going to change anytime soon. But I hope you're all keeping well and keeping your spirits up and keeping busy in whatever way you can. Those of you that are doing school or college or uni work, I hope it's going okay. Had a bit of a disaster that way this week because Ross uses my laptop as well, and my laptop's crashed. And I'm really hoping and praying that I haven't lost everything. All of Ross's schoolwork and my videos, which I'm actually blaming because I'd just finished doing all my videoing and finalised the video in the wee small hours on Wednesday night, Thursday morning. And I was so tired, I thought I'm just going to go to bed and I'll upload them into YouTube in the morning and do all the other bits and bobs that go with it. Sadly, my laptop had other ideas and is now with the laptop doctor. Prognosis is looking not too bad, so I can update you. So I'm hoping I haven't lost everything. So hence having to throw a few more videos together so that I can speak to you this weekend. Been out and about as well. You'll see some photos coming up. My husband dragged me out to do our My Name is Doddy. You've maybe seen it on the news. We're all been doing our Doddy miles and brilliant news. Doddy managed to update us all this week to say he's hit the £1 million mark. So that's for research and hopefully a cure for MND. And it's became very personal for us here because earlier this week I lost my uncle to that ferocious disease. So between that and my laptop dying off on me, the theme of this week's lesson, which is healing, is not lost on me. So let's get on with the lesson. I hope you're all doing okay. I really hope it's not too long before I get down to see you all again. Although the way things are going, I think it could be a while. In fact, it's almost a year, which makes me really sad. But at least this way, you can see me even if I can't see you. Stay safe, stay well, and I'll talk to you again next week. So, Jesus had to endure a lot. He was just constantly people all around him, and he had to endure quite a bit. So we're going to see how long these three can endure the wall seat. Okay, so when you're ready, guys, move your feet out. Lean up against the wall, move your feet out so you're in sitting position.
Mum, I'm out already. I'm not today. Cheater! My feet are sliding. No, Mum, this is not good.
Breathe through the pain, Emily. So Emily's out.
It's much nicer down here.
You're cheating. Nice and easy, Ross? Not getting sore legs? Okay, you're doing a bit of shuggling.
Just to clarify, I've run 10k today, that's fine.
Is that all?
Oh.
Well done, folks. Thank you very
Alright,
much. Rossi win. You've caught me. Just having a quick cup of coffee. Quick 5 minutes out. Been so busy, rushing about, doing this, that, and the next thing. In fact, I was just rushing about doing so many things, I couldn't actually remember what the most important thing I should have been doing was. So I thought, Donna, just sit down, have a warm cup of coffee for once, and have a think about what's actually your priority, what you need to be doing today. Jesus must have been a bit like that. He was so busy healing people, going from place to place, spreading God's word. And loads of us today lead really busy lives. Normally, if we weren't in lockdown, what would you be doing? Quick, up, out of bed, have your breakfast, off to school, back home from school, get your homework done. Then you would have rugby or gymnastics or swimming lessons or riding lessons or karate, be flying about all over the place. Back home, supper, quick, get a bath or a shower, into your jammies, into bed, wake up the next morning and start all over again. And there's nothing wrong having a busy life, but sometimes we're just so busy that we forget about the important stuff. We forget about ourselves. Jesus was really busy, but he also reminds us that even he had to take minutes out to rest and remember his role. I don't know if you just heard that big noise outside just there, but that was actually Ella and Toby running by with their grandparents. I heard you guys. Sometimes when we're really busy, we maybe don't take care of ourselves as well as we should do, and we might get sick or ill. But have any of you ever been sick? Not well at all? Oh, it's just the worst, isn't it? It's no fun when you're not well. But remember, how much better did you feel when you got well again? That's a good feeling, isn't it? When Jesus was here on earth, there were people that were sick. There were a lot of people that were sick back then. And they didn't have the hospitals and the doctors and nurses and all the good medicines and the treatments that we've got nowadays. When Jesus was here, many people would come to him and ask him to make them well again. In today's story, we're going to read about how Jesus took care of people here on earth. He loved all those people such a long time ago, and he loves us still, and he tries to take care of us now too, in here, in our hearts. Today, in this chapter of Mark's Gospel, Jesus moves between public spaces and private ones, and we learn how he uses each to sustain himself and those around him. From the synagogue, he comes to the house of his first disciples, perhaps seeking a retreat from the crowds. Throughout the Gospel, Mark makes it clear that this healing has a noticeable impact on Jesus. And for him, a house is often a safe place. However, even in a private home, Jesus' healing power is still needed. The mother's healing makes it possible to re-establish the whole order of the whole household. The story is a small-scale reflection on Jesus' impact on society at large. Jesus is really starting to come into himself. He's getting really into his ministry, going from place to place. And as we heard last week, he's starting to perform miracles. Miracles that only he could do because he had the power of God in him. Because he could do something that nobody else could do. He could just touch somebody and cure them if they weren't well or they were ill. Wouldn't that be an amazing power to have nowadays? when Jesus was here on earth, a lot of people thought of him as some kind of superhero. Right after Jesus chose his disciples, he visited the home of two of them, Simon and Andrew. When he got there, he discovered that Simon's mother-in-law wasn't very well at all. She was really quite sick and she was in bed. All Jesus had to do was go and touch her hand. He just took her hand in his and she got up. She was cured. And you know what? We don't know how long she'd been ill for, but we do know it was that quick, how quickly Jesus cured her. And she got up and started serving them lunch. Isn't that amazing? Maybe she just wanted to say thank you because she was so grateful because she didn't feel ill anymore. If you were watching that, huge big shock, exactly, everybody was completely shocked. Who is this man? How did he do that? Can he do that for somebody else? And then word flew round the village, a bit like it does in Langham. Before you know it, you've said something here and it's down to the co-op in 5 minutes. The word spread so fast and so quickly that people were coming from everywhere, bringing people that were sick, bringing people that were ill, bringing people that were having horrible and bad thoughts, all wanting Jesus to cure them. They were queued round and round and round the block.
Morning, folks. After being stuck in the house for 3 days in this horrible, wet, wintry, sleety weather, I've decided enough's enough. So I've brought you to another happy place. Yes, I'm on another bridge over the River Esk. Did I mention I find peace and solace in the water? Possibly have. When Jesus was performing all these miracles, healing all these people, so many people, they were queued round and round and round the door. In fact, imagine if he was standing on this bridge, we'd be able to see them possibly most of the way back to Langham, and that's a couple of miles away. Everyone in Capernaum came out. If they didn't need healed themselves, they brought somebody with them who did. And Jesus done it. Because Jesus cares so much, he healed every single one of them. But at the end of the day, yeah, he's the Son of God, but he's also human, and he must have been absolutely exhausted. So he took himself away, out into the desert. That's where the Israelites found an awful lot of peace and solace. So he probably went there to escape, to pray for a bit. And while he was there, praying to God, yes, Son of God, part of God, sounds a bit strange to think about him praying, doesn't it? But he did. He prayed to God to just give him some peace. Put his mind at ease, put his mind back in order. What is my role here? What should I be doing? And eventually the disciples came looking for him. We don't know how long Jesus was out in the desert, but it must have been quite a while when they sent a search party out for him. When he came back, when the disciples found him, they said, "Come on, Jesus, we need to go back now. There's more and more people coming." But guess what Jesus said? No. Jesus said, we need to move on to the next town and preach my Father's word and spread love, spread kindness. That is the role I am here to do. Now you might seem a bit shocked at that, but really, Jesus was here because he wasn't just here to heal people's physical and outward bodies. He was here to do what he does for us now, today, now that he's not here on earth. He heals us from in here, from the inside out. He takes away our sin if we only ask him and invite him in. And he teaches us to take on his role, talk about him to people we meet, most importantly, talk through our actions. Be kind, be loving, humility. And it's not always easy to get rid of some of the negative emotions, especially just now. But when we are struggling a bit, just talk to him, because that's what his job is for us now. It's his job to us, and it's our job for him. And if you are struggling a bit, come and find a happy place, somewhere you can get away from it. So here I am, a little bit further on. Probably not the best time to film, a bit breathless going up this hill. But up at the top of this hill here, there's another little bit. And actually, just after I hung up from you, there was some people out for a walk. And they were asking what I was doing. So I was explaining. I said, oh, just having a chat to the young folk about Jesus. Kind of looked at me a bit strange. But it actually gave me a really good opportunity. I explained to them what I was doing, what my role was. And they actually started asking some really interesting questions about it. And they left me with a cheery goodbye. It's been lovely talking to you. So maybe, just by even coming out and doing this, I'm getting the chance to talk to people about Jesus and spread his love. I'm at the top of the hill now. Show you where I am. So I'm further along. The wind and the rain's getting really heavy now. I hope you can still hear me okay. Following the river back to Langham. If you can see down there. Not very clear. You can see where that white house is just beyond it. It's the bridge that we've just been standing on a few minutes ago. As you can see, it's getting really wintry and horrible now. Yet, no matter how many times I come out into this view, it never gets old. Imagine, come from Langham, come all the way out, along here, past farmhouses, past houses, all the way down there to the bottom. That's where we've just been, coming back along. Imagine Jesus and his followers. No wonder he was exhausted and needed time to himself. Not only were they doing all this healing and still performing miracles, he didn't stop everywhere he went, but having to travel and walk from place to place, miles and miles, and then still heal, still perform miracles, still talk to people about God. When I was talking to the children earlier, I said Jesus was kind of my superhero. And we hear about everything he accomplished without complaining. It's always will be my superhero.
We can all feel that everybody wants a piece of us, can't we? Can you do this? Will you do that? Will you deal with these telephone messages? Will you perform this task? Will you speak to so-and-so about that? In Jesus' case, the lesson today tells us that the whole population of Capernaum came out to see him, and they all wanted something from him, if not for themselves, then for their companions. other friends. Do we make life more difficult for ourselves by giving energy to things that waste and divide us? Do we love ourselves enough to avoid such harmful behaviour? How do you recognise when it's time to just chill out, relax? And how do you go about it? Because it's only then that Jesus starts healing. We know, but Jesus knew that healing the sick wasn't the plan. He had something far more important to do, and it involved an even greater power than that. One that would help even more people. Do you know what it was? The greatest, most amazing, spectacular, important, and exciting power of all. Jesus could save our hearts. Jesus can save everyone's hearts. Anyone who has ever lived or will live can be saved by Jesus. That's one incredible power to have. Jesus is the Son of God, and He's there for us. It's pretty awesome. It's with your paper the long way. You fold it across right down the middle. Okay? And then we open it up again. And then what you do is you take your two top corners and you fold them down on both sides so they meet in the middle. Okay, so we end up with this. Then what we do is you take this bit at the side, the bottom of your point, and we fold it over again. Now this is when it starts to get a wee bit hard, especially if you use really hard paper, and fold it down. Again, you're meeting in the middle, it won't go right to the end. Goodness, Donna, a bit of strength for this. I should have used thinner paper. Okay, and then we go right down to now you end up with this shape. Now the next thing we're going to do is fold it in half with the pieces you folded on the inside. So fold it down. And then we're going to do our wings. So take your top corner again, fold it over. Now some of your grown-ups might have better ways of doing this. And if they have, brilliant, just do them. I'm sure they'll have lots of fun doing this with you. And on the other side, do exactly the same again. So we end up with this. All you've got to do now is take your bottom square corner again, fold it up. Do the same on the other side. Oh, and then open it up, and voila, you should have the perfect glider.